Hey guys, I'm Setsuko Jr. here, aka Mustached, and I'm here to review Grave of the Fireflies. So I just saw this last night, and all I gotta say is, it is simply amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. A nearly perfect movie, just to go along with my last review, Wolf Children. And this movie definitely carries a heavy tone, taking place either during or slightly after World War II. The two main characters get, the fighter pilot bombs get dropped, and it is in the main character's interest to sort of get out of this situation, and they hide out, and after the events of that, they go to a woman's house to seek refuge and all that good stuff. And overall, it was a very emotional movie, and the way it just carried all of its tones, and some of the scenes, how they would just let you just see the entire scene, and just you become so invested in the scene. And this is another example of doing something so minimal and having it have such a big impact. And this is what this movie does really, really well. And if I had to say, if there is anything to nitpick, since I did see the English version, there were only like one or two lines that were a little bit hard to hear or understand, but other than that, it's really hard to say what was wrong or what could have been improved in this movie. I really like the characters' interactions with each other, from the simplicity of it to carrying all that emotion of all the things that happen in this movie. And like, for the majority of the movie, I was just like this, covering my mouth, because I was just like so like emotionally invested for like more than half of the movie. And it does have dark, depressing tones, but at times it also does carry surprisingly like uplifting scenarios. Like, there's this scene where the two of them are in this little bunker, and they have all the fireflies, and they send them out, and then it just lights up this dark cave that they're in, or this little bunker that they're in, and it just looks really, really nice. Or if it's daytime, but you see all this destruction on the ground, but you see up above, it just looks so nice and well animated and all that good stuff. And like at the beginning of the journey, we're told what happens. The main character tells us he's dead, so this journey takes us through how he tried to take care of his family, tried to take care of the situation. And like the way that he's so betrayed is like he's so almost not willing to get certain help or help others in a certain way. And I think that is sort of like, there's certain different types of reflections that take place in this movie that seem almost like it sort of fits with like almost like the voice acting, I want to say. Like, it's so undertoned and underdone that you just like it's so intriguing in that way, that it's done in this sort of way that everything's just so underhanded, and it's not over the top, it's not over exaggerated, it's so under everything that it just sort of pulls you in that sort of interesting way. And then as soon as the girl was not feeling well, I was like, at that point in the movie, I was just like, I was ready to just like start crying because of how impactful these scenes were. Like, it showed like the scene where she was like in the doctor, and the doctor is like, well, we can't really do anything because we don't have any supplies because the bombs and all that stuff. So like, and then it showed her stomach, because there's no food either, so they had been living in this bunker now, and there weren't any supplies. So there wasn't really anything going around. So the little girl was like just starving. Like it was like almost like that scene in itself is just almost like you almost sort of wanted to look away, but something about it, like it just kept you glued in, regardless of how like sad or depressing it was, or just uh, yeah, it was just so impactful in that sort of way. So, oh man, yeah, I think this movie is another animated movie. I'm really glad that the Black Critic guy reviewed this because I didn't know what this movie was. So after hearing this review, I was like, "What is this?" So uh, another particular scene that I found really impactful was the part about the fireflies and how they die really early and stuff like that. And I thought having the girl say it and again in that low tone, it's that part was so like definitely one of the most impactful parts in that entire movie was just her saying that, and you could see it through his reaction because he was crying, and I was just like, that blew me away. Like, wow, like most of this movie, you kind of see her crying, and she's like, "Oh no, no, no," and stuff like that, or like, "Feed me" or something. And at that point, she's the one with the straight face, or just you know, focused, and then he's the one just breaking down, and it was just like, whoa, that is intense, like so powerful right there. So this movie is definitely just filled with powerful moments, deep, beautiful scenery, everything that I love about movies that I get to find out about like this. So once again, I give this a movie a 9 out of 10. Um, I feel like some of the reactions, like they almost felt a little bit like one of the characters felt like a little bit almost surprising. I'm talking about the woman that let them in. Like later on, she's like, "Well, you're not pulling your weight, so you either start doing work or get out of here." And again, just going back to his reaction, he was sort of like, "Well, I guess the little girl doesn't like it either, so I guess we'll go to that bunker I was talking about." But that was almost a little bit surprising. Like those sort of reactions, and like I just don't know. Like, um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was what there's another scene I really thought nailed this movie perfectly, and I'm talking about this happens sort of close to the end. We see like an upshot of these three women that were never in the movie, and we get like a three lines I think from each of them, and as soon as they said their lines, you knew their backstory, and that is impressive movie making right there. When you can make someone come out in a movie that late in the movie and have them say this one thing and you know what kind of character they are, that's truly impressive. Like I knew what these characters were like, I know what they've been through. These are obviously rich a part of a rich family, and they were able to survive through this, and then they were like sort of almost bragging about being able to come back. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the right word, but yeah, I was just like, wow, these characters, even as short as their part was, it was so impactful because of how the rest of the movie carries itself. And then there just I just didn't feel like there was any scene where I'm just like not like I'm always just fully invested in it. I'm always just wondering like who's going to be reacting with them, like how they got to get out of the situation. And there's a bit of like going back and forth as well, which is an interesting part. because we have these these boys that are going into the bunkers, and then one of them says that there's a ghost, and that's referring to the girl that was in the bunker. So that was like, whoa, like that's really interesting. Um, yeah, it's so what I'll do for this is I'll leave a link in the description since both of the Japanese and English versions are on YouTube, so it definitely must watch if you're anywhere. If you like anime to any degree, I highly recommend this movie. It's just so well done. This has been Thomas Sue Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.